Happy 420. I'm coming to you guys live today. So while some of you may think my live video is going to be about something totally different, 420 is actually a really monumental day for John and I because of one specific reason. 4 years ago today, John and I were embarking on our San Diego adventure and driving into San Diego from Vegas. So I'm just going to give you guys a little story. Today's going to be more of like a storytelling musings. And I'm going to share with you this morning 4 years ago. So we had just finished completing our 7-week road trip through the country. We had basically decided to move from Buffalo, New York to San Diego, and in doing so we decided to take a 7-week road trip where we went from Buffalo, New York all the way down to Miami and then across the southern part of the United States for 7 weeks. We had left our jobs behind, we had sold my house, we had left really everything that was familiar to us to embark on the unknown, and it was an incredibly scary but exciting and invigorating experience. Everyone in our entire life thought we were insane. A lot of people thought we would fail, and almost everyone tried to talk us out of the experience. They were like, this is pure stupidity, you guys should not go. And we were like, onwards. So 4 years ago today, I woke up in Vegas, and we decided, I'm sorry, this car alarm, I keep like postponing going live, and I just don't know what's happening with it. Hopefully they turn it off soon. So I woke up and I immediately had that like, oh, I'm about to shit my pants feeling. Because for me, the 7 weeks of road trip had been kind of the buffer, a very fun buffer in between moving and arriving and stepping into my new life. So when I woke up 4 years ago this morning, I was like, oh no. Like, I was so ready to get to San Diego, but at the same time so freaking scared and fearful that I did not want to go to San Diego. I literally woke up and was like, John, we need to keep driving. We need to keep driving past San Diego. And he was like, are you insane? Like, we've been on the road for 7 weeks now. Like, we can't just drive onward. Like, where are we going to end up? And I was like, it doesn't matter. We just need to keep going. Like, I'm so scared. And I was creating all of these really dramatic what if situations in my head. Like, what if we can't find jobs? What if the apartment we got that we haven't seen has cockroaches? What if it like completely sucks and we hate it? What if we have no friends? What if we don't actually like San Diego? What if? And I was freaking myself out. Who does that? If you do that, please give me a like, a heart, or a little number 1 in the box, the comment box. Because who has done that before, right? Freaks ourselves out for no apparent reason. We create all these stories in our mind, not good stories, mind you. Those what ifs could have been the opposite. Like, what if I love our new apartment? What if I find a job this week? What if it's my dream job? No, those were not the thoughts going through my head. It was like, the world is ending. See this car alarm, dude? What is going on? It was more like the world is ending. We cannot go to San Diego. Instead, we must keep driving. So for, I think it's like 4 hours between here and Vegas, the entire time I was literally having a panic attack. I was crying. John was like, who is this insane chick that I'm moving across the country with who's now having a mental breakdown upon arrival? Like, what is going on? We saw the Welcome to California sign as we crossed into California, and I was shaking, like not in a great way. I was shaking in a truly, like, I am about to shit my pants moment. And it was really interesting because John, laughing in the driver's seat as I was just having like a mental breakdown / panic attack, was like, babe, this is everything you've ever wanted. Like, we are like, this is exactly what you wanted, and you pushed, like we pushed each other to do. What's going on? And the thing was, I was being gripped by the fear of the unknown. It was really the first step of our journey and the first step of kind of facing that fear head on. And I just was not handling it well. Now I step into my fear all the time. I feel like when I'm afraid of something, I'm like, okay, well, I got to do it. Like, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts around it, because I know now that by pushing myself out of my comfort zone straight into my fear, like not even contemplating it, I'm growing every time I do that. But this was really the first, big journey into that, stepping into that greatness and stepping into that fear. It was the first time. Well, we arrived around, I think, like early afternoon here in San Diego. Our apartment was awesome. It did not have cockroaches. It was within a few blocks of a park. And just a few hours later, it was within walking distance of my favorite pizza place here in San Diego that I have come to enjoy. I haven't eaten it in like 3 years since I've cut out gluten, but I was like, it's a sign. New York City pizza blocks away. I was meant to be here. So I just wanted to encourage you guys, like, and then looking back on that day 4 years ago to see what John and I have accomplished in the last 4 years and how freaking happy I am right now compared to that, and how secure I feel in my life and myself, and how deep my love for myself is, and how amazing and passionate I am about our business, and just reflecting on literally how much has happened since that day when we drove into San Diego 1 year, 2 year, 3 year to today. Like, holy crap. If you had told me what I was embarking on and where I would be 4 years from driving into San Diego, I probably quite literally would have shit my pants and just kept driving. Like, stopping in San Diego would not have been an option, because I would have been like, no, I'm never going to do all those things. You're telling me a bunch of lies, and you're freaking me out. That would have been my response. But with every day that I pushed myself outside my comfort zone, faced those fears head on, that was one of the first days that I truly was like, okay, like, this is it. I just got to step into the fear and the unknown and see what happens. And it's been magical ever since. And literally every time I do it, it becomes easier and easier. So I just wanted to bring this message to you guys today to encourage you, if there is something holding you back because of fear, if it's giving you that shit your pants feeling, it's probably the right move. It probably means that you're hanging on to that feeling of debating whether or not to do it because you know it's the right decision, but you're being crippled by your fear. And I have been there so many times. This story, Melissa's storytelling today, is the prime example of that, because I literally did not want to stop the car. I didn't want to get out of the car. John was like dragging me out of the car. He was like, what is wrong with you? We're here. And I was like, no, I want to just keep driving. Like, road trip life is fun. Let's just become vagabonds. So imagine how differently my life would have been if I had embraced that fear and just kept driving and maybe ended up back in Buffalo 7 weeks later beyond that. So yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing day. It's a monumental day for us. April 20th will always have a fond place in my heart for the reason that we arrived in San Diego 4 years ago today. But I encourage you guys to, let me know what your fears are. Let's work through them. Let's bust through them. Like, the only way to get on the other side of fear is to not pussyfoot around it. It's not to play around with the idea of possibly doing it for 6 months. It's to, like, run head freaking straight for it. Bust through that brick wall of fear and be on the other side of it. That's like the only way to do it. And that's how I operate all day long. So I encourage you guys to reach out to me if you need support. I would love to be here for you to help you bust through any fears that you may have. And let's crush life together. Love you guys.